Hi everyone, welcome to Utility Unit. We specialize in testing and experimenting with various Chrome extensions. Today we're going to take a look at my top 5 favorite ones for productivity. So if you're a Chrome user with productivity issues and are seeking an extension that personally helps, you're in the right place. Now let's get to business. Here on my list is Latitude. This extension is not only good for productivity, guys, but also for mindfulness, trust. It's got three main functions. First, it lets you own your media by allowing you to block 6 of the most common social media websites in just one click. Of course, this brings a downside in that you can unblock them just as easily. So if you're like me and not strict enough with your rules, you tend to act in the moment and follow your instinct to unblock, so you regain access to those sites in just a click and boom, go back to your old ways. So basically, not an extension you'd want to keep on your toolbar in front of your eyes for immediate access. People who do have some self-control can find the ease rather convenient though. But again, if they can refrain from clicking and unclicking icons on a fucking extension, then they'll have no problem refraining themselves from visiting the addictive site either. So it's maybe not useful anyway. The wands are different. They block certain sections of the website. So for example, the Twitter wand would remove the recommended and trending tweets, but the list of sections restricted is rigid. Like, you can't choose your own set of sections to restrict. Still, it serves the general need. Not to mention, the blocks only work for 6 such websites, not for other popular ones like, say, Pinterest or LinkedIn. And to be fair, YouTube and Wikipedia are a useful source of knowledge. Like, come on. So why would one even want to block those? Basically, if you're looking for website blockers, this isn't the best extension for you. Unless you're a newsreader or shopaholic. Then the top 2 options in Latitude's second function would be insanely useful in reclaiming your time, because clicking on the news or shop block blocks the 50 most popular news or shopping websites. Can be a bit all or nothing though, yes, because you can't even open a single such website during the block, but still okay, at least you don't have to manually enter the websites you wish to block one by one like you'd have to do in other extensions. The bottom 2 are more interesting, I feel. The Move Alert button is for preventing eye strain and gets you moving. It's based on the 20-20-20 rule, which basically says that every 20 minutes spent on a screen, you should look at something that is 20 feet away from you for a total of 20 seconds. But on Latitude, it's nothing more than an alarm that rings every 20 minutes. Kind of like its sister button R chime. You select it if you want to hear a chime for each hour that passes. A reminder that time is passing. The last one is a mood tracker, where you can record how you're feeling today. It comes with an optional daily reminder if you need it. If you feel good, you're asked what made you so grateful. If you don't, they ask you what happened and how you can make it better. So after you record it for days, they generate a mood history graph. Good for self-awareness, I feel, and maintaining an optimistic kind of mentality, which could in turn improve your productivity. So, Latch is still one of my favorites. Next, I want to introduce Timer for Google Chrome. Actually, it's a timer, alarm, and stopwatch all in one package. Handy and pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to spend much time explaining its effectiveness. The only reason I like it is because of how integrated it is. Like, once you install it, you won't need separate extensions. One for timer, one for alarm, another for stopwatch. You can just keep tabs on all your timing tools through the single extension. Can look a bit confusing at first, I know, with so many time readings. Just remember that the text at the very bottom next to the clock icon displays the current time at your place. When you need a timer, also known as a countdown, you just enter how many hours, minutes, and seconds you want to count down from. Click on the countdown button and the countdown starts right away. If you need to pause or stop it, you're welcome to do that too. For an alarm, just enter what time you want the alarm clock to beep at and click the alarm clock button. Underneath, you'll see how much time is left till the alarm clock rings, and as usual, feel free to stop it. The stopwatch works in a similar fashion. Click on it and it will start counting how much time has lapsed. Pause it if you need to, or just restart it by re-clicking the stopwatch button. Extension number 3, Habit. It's a unique one, quite frankly, that helps you develop and maintain productive habits. You click on the plus sign to add a new habit, then you simply set its frequency and write thoughts on it if you have any. Luckily, you can also add a URL to refer or use to achieve that habit. And once you save it, it will appear under the checklist. Mark it as done as soon as you've completed it. This will remove it from the checklist and add it to the list of completed habits. If you want to see an aggregate list containing both the achieved and unachieved habits, just visit the All tab here. To find further details about a certain goal, all you need to do is click on it, then you'll come across a box like this displaying the URL and thoughts that you recorded about it. And you can also monitor the monthly and weekly progress by checking the number of occasions where you succeeded and where you failed to complete your goal. And if you alter your definition later on of what it means to fulfill that habit and you think you've after all not maintained it over the frequency that you have set for yourself, just use the undo button to cancel the completion. It'll move the thing back to the checklist. To be honest, your progress can be better interpreted by the set of badges you unlock for a certain goal. The more consistent you are, the more badges you receive. Conversely, you may lose badges if you're not fulfilling your habits on a regular basis. So, a good motivator for those who like gamifying their productivity experience, mind you, it's also an extension you'd want to put on your toolbar instead of just having it run in the background, since it displays the number of habits you gotta maintain for the day. My second favorite extension is called Waste No Time. Swear, this is so good. It's got a time tracker with a day, week, and month view for you to see which sites you visited the most. There's also this instant internet lockdown feature, which is quite intense actually. Basically, after you start the lockdown, you're not allowed to visit any of the websites you blocked for a set period. You can either enter a lockdown duration or just a time until which the lockdown will be present for. But the heart of this extension is, of course, editing your block list. This isn't your average block list though, it's super customizable because it lets you fix a time quota for it. That's one thing. The other cool thing is that, unlike other annoying website blockers, it knows that people who wish to block a particular site may still have or need to view certain parts of it from time to time. So, Waste No Time lets you either block the whole website and all sites linked to it, or block a whole website except for some pages on it, or access the website but restrict certain URLs on it. It's just so convenient. Believe me when I say this, guys, it's also a great extension icon to keep on your toolbar. It informs you exactly how much time has passed and the block status of the website that you're on. You may add several URLs at once to block in your block list, even if those URLs are listed on a public website. Now, the allow list is a foolproof way to guarantee access to a certain site, even if it's mentioned in your block list. Safe, right? Remember the global quota option we saw earlier? This is basically the maximum amount of time you're allowed to spend in surfing a general blocked website. You get to set and reset time ranges and you select which days of the week you want this quota to be present. I personally deactivated on weekends because I believe that weekends are for chilling. There are also a bunch of advanced settings and these are perfectly suited for us. For instance, you decide whether you'd like to enable it on incognito and also decide which sites you don't want the extension to track your time on. I pause it on my university's web portal because I rather the extension focus on the more useless distracting ones, like social media sites, for example. That's how I get to monitor which top 10 lame sites I pass time on up in the time tracker section. The extension detects when the browser is idle as well. This is so understanding of the developers, honestly, because sometimes we just leave the tab open without doing things on it. So technically, that shouldn't count as activity time, should it? And waste no time accounts for that. They also know that the term idle varies from person to person. My friend, for example, considers 30 seconds of inactivity as idleness. I, on the other hand, will only call my browser idle if I don't touch it for, say, hours in a row. So, you define how long idle means to you. If a site is blocked, they won't just say that either. They would either redirect you to a more decent URL of your choice or make you land on a clean black and white page displaying an inspirational quote and a reminder of why it's blocked. Such an amazing approach to get our minds stabilized and come to terms with the restriction. Lastly, before your time quota on a website runs out, they alert you about it too rather than abruptly restricting the page. Quite professional, in my opinion. Saving the best for the last, our favorite productivity extension ever is Todoist. It's way more than just a to-do list, since you can customize and fine-tune it so well to meet your personal preferences, needs, and standards, and they'll provide you with so many options and ways to organize, schedule, and even view the range of tasks you're trying to complete. Crazy helpful tool all in all. You can list things to do like you can in any other to-do app. On top of that, you can separately view what's due today versus what's coming up. It's got a calendar. You can prepone and postpone tasks whenever, as I'll explain soon. By the way, Todoist also deserves to get pinned on your toolbar, as it displays the number of tasks you have due for the day in its icon itself. Coming to your inbox, you can add tasks as well as group them up into sections. And after your sections are done, you can edit them, duplicate them, move them around, really flexible. For each task, you can also add subtasks as steps to achieve it. If you want to add a label to it, just type at. If you want to assign it a priority, just type P and put the value that you like. You may set a reminder, you may comment. Comments can not only be added to subtasks, but even to the task as a whole. You can attach links, notes, emojis, virtually any type of document, including pictures and voice recordings, you name it. Under today, overdue tasks will always show up on top instead of just getting lost in the calendar. And the rescheduling options are crazy. I mean, you may even assign a time. In just a click, you can postpone it to a reasonable date without having to sit through a calendar to locate it. There's also an option to add no-date tasks. Truly, this extension can accommodate any and every kind of task one may have in a single neat screen space. The upcoming portion is laid out in a similar style. Besides, you can view all the tasks you need to complete starting from a specific date up until forever. Their respective date, project, progress would all be mentioned, so don't worry about that. If you need to group several sections together, you can do that as well and collate them as part of a project. Apart from outlining projects, you may also color code and star them. Labels make it even better if you're a messy person who needs a reliable filtering system, that is. There's an interesting variety of filters you can add based on the task's importance, urgency, and doer. Overall, this extension lets you update your progress in real time and offers you with so many choices, and having more choices directly translates to having more control, and control is all that an efficient organizer needs. So in my eyes, this is the best organization tool out there to tempt you to be productive and can even make the most daunting tasks appear less intimidating due to the way it's structured. You're welcome to take breaks though, and also to set a stylish theme. It can also be used as a collaborative platform, and you may integrate it with your calendar or social media. You may back it up, and you'll get the reminders and notifications you want, where you want them, and how they'll be delivered. Basically, everything you need for task management is packed in this extension. That's why I love it. So, which of these extensions is your favorite? Are there any you're gonna install? Or do you know of other extensions that are even more useful? Let us know in the comments below.